Hello YouTube, I'm back again today, this time with part 2 of my zombie series. And before I get started, I want to give you some backstory. I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh again about 2 years ago, and I wasn't really knowledgeable, and I got a Zombie Madness structure deck for Christmas, and this is kind of what the deck is built around. That structure deck, one structure deck I might add, is what the deck is built around and what I had at the time. And you may notice that some big important cards are missing, and as I said, that's because I was playing with what I had. And I'm just going to skip over the stuff that I feel doesn't need explanation because I've gone over it 100 times. So Spirit Reaper doesn't need explanation. Royal Keeper, in my eyes, it was a 29 beater that I could put in defense mode, so I wouldn't lose life points if my opponent somehow summoned something stronger than it. Malevolent Mech Goku N. It's another pyramid target, but it can also be normal summoned. You can swap it to your opponent, and they'll take the effect damage if you summon it by its just normal summoning it without tributes. Vampire Lord and Genesis don't need explanations. Red Eyes Zombie Dragon. I was running one zombie world, and the idea with it is that I could use all my zombies effects, like the ones that let me pull it from either player's graveyard or my opponent's, to take my opponent's good monsters and try to wreck them with their own monsters. But it didn't work out all that well. I've already explained in my last video. Paladin, it's kind of like a weaker Red Eyes Darkness Metal. If anything, it's a 4-star 19 beater that can rival Thunder King. Red Ogre, to me, was similar to a Brio. That wasn't really a Brio. And if anything, it was just a 28 beater I could special summon with Call of the Mummy. Ill Bloods, these are an amazing card in a zombie deck if you can pull it off properly. What it lets you do is special summon one zombie from either player's grave, but if Ill Blood's removed from the field, the monsters that special summon are destroyed. And it's a Gemini monster, and I also have a Gemini video that you should go look at if you don't understand Geminis. But I ran 2, and it just helped me recycle my pyramids and Rokokis. The 3 pyramid turtles are staples and turtle zombies. Zombie Master is a new addition, and it just put in so much work because I could discard a dead zombie in my hand, like Vampire Genesis, or maybe an Ill Blood, and special summon a turtle. And then I could use Book of Life to bring back the monster I discarded, or ram Turtle into my opponent's monster to bring back a high beater. It just helped me recycle. Because you should recycle, kids. Recycle. The Kokis are self-explanatory. Before I go over Des Lakuta, I should go over Giant Rat. I put in several different cards in here to try to tech it out to make the deck as consistent as possible, because there were a lot of problems. Unfortunately, no matter if I just changed the card 1 or 2, it didn't help too much. Giant Rat kind of filled the void of Goblin Zombie, where I needed to, well, in this case, I tried to get to my turtles as fast as possible, because if I didn't get to my turtles, I was losing. And Des Lakuta, the idea was that I could special summon it with Giant Rat after I have, like, a live turtle, and flip it up, draw a card, or flip it down with its effect, flip it up with its flip summon, draw a card, and then tribute it off for a tribute zombie. I put Call of the Mummy down to 2, and it seemed to work fine. I explained Zombie World when I explained Red Eyes. I was playing Soul Taker before it was cool. It was mostly that I gotta pick what monster I destroyed. And that's about it. Dark Hole is a staple. Book of Life, I only had 1 at the time. But if I had more, I would have played more. It's a very good card. I'm going to explain Pot of Avarice into detail in another video. Shrink, Stardust, if my opponent was able to summon Stardust, it was 90% of the time game for me because I just didn't have outs to Stardust. Because as you can see, as far as monsters go, Vampire Genesis is the only thing I have to get over a 25 beater. Bait Doll, when I first started playing again, MST was at 1, and this just kind of filled the void of an MST to deal with those set traps. If you don't know what it does, look it up. As I said with Book of Life, I only had 1 creature swap. Monster Reborn staple. MST was at 1. Pretty much anyone who has played budget getting back into the game knows that Magic Cylinders is a good budget card. 7 Tools the Bandit. I hated playing this card when I was, we'll just say, 5 to 7 years ago, because I didn't like the idea of paying life points. But when I started playing it, I loved it because I could negate those Sakuretsu armors that were just a thorn in my side. Regeki Break, kind of like Soul Taker, just destroy a card that I can't get over with my Rikoki. Wabaku, try to protect my life points and monsters for a turn. Same with Scrap Iron Scarecrow, does similar to what Wabaku does. Pretty good card. Bottomless Trap Hole, just destroy my opponent's high-level synchro monsters. And Compulse, because I love Compulse. It's such a good card. And I'm going to go over one more thing, which is I consistently put this in and out, which was Narrow Pass. And what this card does is that both players are only allowed 2 more normal summons before they aren't allowed anymore. And before this card got reprinted, its latest time, I believe, the text said normal summons or sets. So once your opponent has used up 2 or more, both their normal summons, they couldn't normal summon anymore. And the idea with this deck is that I could use Call of the Mummy and keep specialing my zombies and maintain field presence while my opponent is struggling to maintain theirs. It didn't work out that well. That's all I have to say for this deck. As I said, it was a budget deck, so it wasn't very good. But soon we'll be getting into some more builds that I can say I'm more proud of. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.